Anything and everything can change in the blink of an eye. For Prichard Colón, the ring was a stage where futures were forged in sweat and dreams, until one fight, one moment, rewrote his destiny. This is the story of a fight that went beyond rounds, beyond the final bell, into the very core of courage, heartbreak, and unyielding spirit of a champion. Join us as we step inside the life of a fighter who embodied hope and faced a battle that transcended the sport. A tale where the truest strength was found in the will to keep fighting, even when the odds were insurmountable. This is the tragic story of Prichard Colón. In the sweltering heat of Florida, a future boxing sensation was born, Prichard Colón. At the age of 10, his life took a pivotal turn when his family uprooted to Puerto Rico. It was a move fueled by a father's vision to see his son don the colours of the island in the boxing ring. Nicknamed Diggert for his towering presence, Colón's journey began at Albergue Olímpico in Salinas, where he started to carve out his legacy. The amateur boxing world quickly took notice of Colón's talents as he clinched national championship titles in the 141 and 152 pound divisions. He won a gold medal at the Pan American Youth Championship in the 64 kilo category, and despite a setback on his Olympic dreams, falling to Gabriel Maestri, Colón's amateur record sparked with an undefeated 17-0 record, a perfect prelude to his professional career. In 2012, Prichard decided to take all that amateur gold and turn it into a professional glory. His pro debut, nothing short of explosive. The kid wasn't just dancing around the ring, he was commanding it. And get this, by the end of 2014 he'd already tallied up an impressive record, with a string of knockouts that had the boxing forums lighting up. He wasn't just scraping by these wins, he was dominating. Of his first 16 fights, 13 ended with his opponents staring up at the lights. And it wasn't just the quantity of those KOs, it was the quality. He was taking down seasoned fighters, guys who had been in the ring more times than they could count. There's always that one fight that defines your path. For Prichard, that fight was against none other than Vivian Harris, a seasoned warrior and former world champion. When Prichard squared up with Harris, it wasn't just another tick on his record. It was a shot to show the world that his gloves carried thunder. 4 rounds, that's all it took. 4 rounds for Prichard to dismantle a boxing champion.
One of the hardest hitters as Colón starts to pile combinations down, and down goes Harris.
It's going to take a lot for him to get up from this. I don't think he'll make it.
A 4th round knockout by a young up-and-comer, 22-year-old Prichard Colón.
And it wasn't just about power, it was the precision. Prichard had this way of breaking down his opponents, finding angles, slipping punches. He had this right hook that came from nowhere and a body shot that made you wince just watching it. Behind those knockouts was a truckload of hard work. Prichard lived in the gym, always perfecting his craft, always planning his next move. It was like he had boxing down to a science, and man was it paying off. The boxing world was buzzing, and Prichard Colón was the name on everyone's lips. Was he the next big thing? A lot of folks thought so. He was knocking on the door of the big leagues, and with his knockout ratio, he wasn't just knocking, he was pounding. However, this is where the story and life of Prichard is about to take a tragic turn. It was the kind of matchup that had the boxing world holding its breath. Prichard Colón, the rising sensation with a string of knockouts echoing behind him, versus Terrel Williams, an equally promising talent with an unblemished record and power in both hands. On paper, it was a fight fan's dream. 2 undefeated gladiators, both with knockout power, both with everything to lose. And as the fight drew closer, the question on everyone's mind: who would land the decisive blow? Who would falter under the bright lights? As the 17th of October 2015 edged closer, the boxing world poised on the edge of history. Prichard Colón versus Terrel Williams, a fight that would leave an indelible mark on the world of boxing. From the get-go, Prichard was the maestro in the ring, slick, sharp, commanding the space like a general. His jabs? They were poetry in motion, keeping Williams at bay, picking him off with elegance. Prichard dominated rounds 2, 3 and 4, but here comes the tide change in round 5. Williams, like a storm on the horizon, started muscling in, pressing down on Prichard and completely changing the dynamic of the fight. A clash of wills, and then boom, a low blow sends Williams crashing down. The pain is real. The referee, seeing intent, deducts 2 from Colón. Williams, fueled by fury, comes back swinging over the next 2 rounds, battering Colón, showing levels of aggression we'd not seen yet, a completely different fighter. Round 7 brings controversy. Williams catches Colón with a rabbit punch as he turns away. The ref gives him 5 seconds to recover.
And Colón drops down to his knees. The crowd is furious right now. The ref calls time. Right hand, and yeah, I mean, that was directly to the back of the head.
It's a heavy shot.
Taking a point from Williams in the meantime, Colón informed the referee, Joe Cooper, of the illegal punches to the back of his head, to which the referee replied, "You take care of it." It's now Prichard's turn for a comeback. The brake lights are fire in him. He storms back, finishing the 7th on his feet, looking and feeling strong. Still, with that glint in his eye, Prichard takes round 8 and the momentum seems to be shifting. Round 9 and it's war on the ropes. Williams lets loose, dropping Colón for the first time this round and for the first time in Prichard's entire career.
Those guys who will wear you down. I mean, we've seen how Chris Colón looked in early in the round. Williams has worn.
Wow. He's got him. Williams is unloading on Colón. He puts him down.
The count begins. Colón's up, but here comes Williams. Yet another shot to the back of the head as Colón falls for the 2nd time. But this one feels different. You can see it, the toll on Colón.
How to deal with a guy like Williams.
Again! Colón is down. Final 10 seconds of the round.
Bloodied, dazed, but still this warrior stands. He makes it to his corner, ready for round 10. But fate, cruel and unkind, steps in. A mix-up with his gloves. Colón's corner started removing his gloves, saying that he thought the 9th round was the 10th and final. Was Colón's corner legitimately confused, or were they using it as a stall tactic to buy some time for their fighter? It didn't matter. The fight was ruled a disqualification because Colón couldn't answer the bell. A sad end, but one that would pale in insignificance. In the aftermath of the clash, the ring remains, but one man's journey took an unforeseen detour into the shadows. Prichard Colón, the bright star from Maitland, faced a fate that no fighter, no person should ever endure. After the final bell, Prichard returned to his corner, the rigors of battle wearing heavily upon him. It was there, amidst the concern and chaos, that the true battle began, a fight for his life. After the fight, Prichard was taken to his locker room, assisted by his mother. Once there, he vomited and collapsed. Alarm bells started to ring as he was rushed into an ambulance and straight to hospital.
I asked him in Spanish, "Papi, ¿cómo tú estás?" And he answered in English, "Mami, I'm dizzy, I cannot see."
Then in the locker room, Mom tried to sit him down in the chair that was there, and he started sliding down, started vomiting.
I remember him collapsing in his own throw up, and then at that point, he was trying to hold on to consciousness.
Daddy said, "Please, Prichard, don't go, don't go."
In the wake of that pivotal bout, medical scans revealed a chilling diagnosis for Prichard Colón. He was found to have a left-sided subdural hematoma, essentially a severe blood clot measuring 1.5 centimeters in diameter, with a midline shift in his brain of 1.2 centimeters.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Everything changed that day, that night. It was awful.
For those unfamiliar, a midline shift is a serious condition where the brain moves from its normal position, typically indicating severe swelling or bleeding. The severity of Prichard's condition needed emergency surgery. The procedure, often as critical as it is drastic, involves the removal of part of the skull to allow the swelling brain room to expand without being squeezed. It was a decisive move to reduce brain swelling and to evacuate the hematoma. Post-surgery, Prichard entered a coma, a profound state of unconsciousness. For 221 days, which is just over 7 months, he remained in this comatose state, with his family, friends, and the world watching and waiting.
Prichard Colón, yep. Correct. This man ain't have no kids. Man, they don't understand, man. Y'all don't fucking understand what we go through, man.
Prichard's struggle highlighted not just the personal battles fought in the quiet of hospital rooms, but also ignited a broader dialogue on the safety of boxers and the unforgiving nature of the sport they love. Prichard Colón's story of resilience continues. From the depth of a coma, he has emerged into a world vastly different from the one he knew as an undefeated boxer. Prichard now lives in a state that requires constant care, looked after lovingly by his mother in their home in Orlando, Florida. The tenacity that defined Prichard's boxing career is still evident in his rehabilitation. Despite the life-altering injuries, he refuses to throw in the towel. A recent update on his Facebook profile captures a heartwarming interaction between Prichard and his mother. In it, we see a glimpse of his indomitable spirit as he attempts to speak and even shares a smile that speaks volumes to his inner strength. These moments are testaments to Prichard's resolve, and they echo a message that resonates beyond the boxing community. Never give up, no matter the odds.